No, because I would be using them.
Oh no, trust me.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine.
We do have, did we have sufficient discussion on the waiver of sovereign immunity and consent to waiver of tribal court jurisdiction?
This is for our property insurance. We do it every year. You can see the total cost is $537,000. It's our belief that we're going to finance that.
All right, so when I read the agenda, I will read it with, I think, the items that aren't ready for tonight, and then I will ask for suspension to add that one. And given I think we're down 2 people, or 3 people, aren't we? It'll take everybody. Yeah. Yeah, we know if there's even one objection, then it means it's not on.
Not objections. That's all right.
So,
I will accept my
yeah, because we don't have anything to do. Oh, we could do discussion, General Welfare Exclusion Act. Although Mike was supposed to be here and prepared, so I'm not sure if he's on his way.
I would just ask that without objection. Hey, that's good. I got some volume now. That we have staff bring it back.
Discussion. We can do that now.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it now. Go ahead. Well, I'll tell you, I'll frame it for you, but then there's some specifics that we can flow from it. Or you want to go ahead?
Yeah, what it is I think in 2014 we had I'll say debate on the 1099s for activities such as honorariums, drums, educational scholarships, those type of things. And there was a new IRS reg, June of 2014, I believe, that allowed for safe harbors and general welfare exclusions for tribes to basically not have to 1099 people, whether it be a scholarship for education, but the tribe would have to then define it under its safe harbor. So what I did is, actually slavery was finishing it up, was adopting a code which itemizes all those things, and I used the one code that I forwarded around, which was pretty inclusive, to kickstart that so that we wouldn't have to do that anymore. So basically, if a college kid gets a $1,000 scholarship, they're not getting a 1099 for it. Or if a drum gets $500 or $50 or whatever, they're not getting a 1099 for it. But that's essentially what it is. I mean, it takes a little bit more tweaking and moving, but that's the commencement of it.
So I'll just add to it that NCAI pushed very hard 2 years ago to get the General Welfare Exemption Exclusion Act passed. And so my understanding of this is just a little tiny bit different. And I would like to believe that it means that we can just go ahead and change our code, and then we have the ability to decide in a sovereign way what is taxable, what's not taxable. But I believe that there's a process with the appointment of the advisory body to Treasury. There's 7 people that will be appointed And there are 3 that have been appointed by the administration, one of which is Eugene Magnuson from the Pokagon Band. And we pushed hard at United Tribes and MAST and NCAI, not NCAI, but we pushed really hard to get him appointed, and he's appointed. But he's a little frustrated because he's attended the last United Tribes meeting, and they haven't really, well, they haven't, the congressional members haven't filled their 4 vacancies. One of them is Senator Sandy, or Congressman Sandy Levin. One of them is Dave Camp. So we could really affect this from Michigan if they went ahead and make their appointments, but they haven't done that. So I think that I support drafting up the code and even passing it, but I would caution that there may be some implementation issues until that advisory committee is established. That may not be the case. So we need to do a legal review to make sure that what we're enacting is doable so we comport with the IRS regulations. Our job will be so much easier when we don't have to report culturally related items and issues that we intend not to be taxable. So I agree with that completely. So
I'm sorry, yeah, no. It's not just cultural, educational, which includes actually travel. It's all broken down actually in the IRS regulations. The letter, it was adopted, but then the letter was issued right after NCAI. So the goal is, and yeah, I wanted to try to call it, Tribal Code Chapter 99, but just to be funny. But we already have one of those, it's in 1099. So what I requested was Tribal Code Chapter 40 because I figured that was the easiest tax relevant number. So there will be an example to look at into our part. But this was to get it going because we talked about it in 14. We talked about it in the audit committee meeting, and even the auditor said, "Yeah, you're right." It says that. And there's no reason we should be having to 1099 if we don't have to. And I will say this: in that reg, it allows for anybody who's been issued a 1099 to retroactively file to get their taxes corrected back to 2013, I believe. No, but it goes retro.
Oh.
It says right in the regs that they can actually retro file for a correction.
So I guess I would ask this: should the tax commission or the audit committee take up this issue and start working on it and bring it to us?
I mean, that's the whole point, is to kick the ball out. That's the whole point. The whole point is to come back with the reso and see that that's all we need, and then go from there. Because otherwise, we're going to 1099 for no reason.
Yeah, and if the regulations or clarification letter from OMB currently says we can do it, then we should do it.
That's right. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's a lot less work for accounting.
Well, they still got to keep a file. That's what it says as part of it. They have to keep a file of everyone they've issued checks underneath the safe harbors for. So they just wouldn't.
Okay, are there any questions about that? This hasn't been a big issue for us in the past in terms of scholarships, because our scholarship amount is less than the reportable amount for the most part, because we don't give big scholarships.
$1,000 is over the 6.
Isn't it? I think the threshold's higher than that.
600.
Oh, it's 600? Well, potentially the elder checks, once we start supplementing them again, if we supplement them with casino revenue, that will be exempt, although I'm not sure if we can because of the per capita.
If you put it in there and they buy it.
December 20th meeting. And then also, what about that? Rescinding Authorization, although we don't have anything, she didn't send it.
That's it, it's right.
Oh, you've got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the agenda tonight, then I would ask that we, without objection, I'll ask if we can add rescind 2016-122 IMLS.
172.
Oh yes, 172. IMLS, it's just the date pattern change on that grant. And then I will read the agenda with the items that I think that we've, like Criminal Code Chapter 71, our judges suggested that we workshop that before we bring it back and look at it. And then also the partial waiver, I will read it without those items and then entertain a motion, and if we have the votes, then you don't have to act to take them off the agenda. And then we'll suspend the rules, and I'll ask without objection for the date pattern change for the library services. And then also, I'll ask without objection on the waiver of sovereign immunity for the financing that Bill brought us. Then, if the board wishes, I wasn't going to request it, but if the board wishes, we do know that the date for the last Obama administration White House Council Tribal Leaders meeting is the last week of September. We have a meeting scheduled, which we were trying to schedule around that meeting, but then the president selected the last week. So if we could move the September 27th meeting to the 20th. Do you know the location of that one?
That's Munising.
Munising, so it would just move it to a week earlier in Munising.
September.
So moving the September 27th to September 20th. DJ.
Do it in the meeting.
Well, you wouldn't, no,
You could just do it and announce it.
board members might be reluctant to do it without knowing when the new meeting is scheduled. So scheduling
No, I'm
it
just
proactively
saying.
might be better.
That way we
Time to
can
put it
put
on.
the notice out, so I mean, people know ahead of time. Then Dale can put out the blast.
You still need
That'll be your first meeting in a year.
So that's, I won't have to travel for that one.
Right. Yeah. So, that's it. We still have 30 minutes. I was trying to drag it out. You have any issues for us? Oh, come on. Come up with something. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. Well, we have a half-hour break. Yeah.
You guys changed
I
it.
wouldn't see.
Okay, so then, well, this was before you guys defined.
Oh.
So, okay.
Because I'll be in Colorado.
Okay.
Going to Empire. No. National. Oh, she has breathing. Okay, all right, that's fine. Oh, okay, well, while we're standing, we might as well go ahead and, I'll go ahead. Ani, Pushu, Wakchikandishnakas, Makin, Magizin, Donam, Mawating and Donchba, Nishnabe, Ojibwe, Odawa, Otwataminda. Miigwich Babanang, Miigwich Jawanang, Miigwich Ngabinang, Miigwich Kodnang. Miigwich Nokamasayak, Miigwich Misho, Ayak, Miigwich Ki, Miigwich Nabish, Miigwich Ndod Shabo. So I just said our prayer real simply to each of the directions, to our Mother Earth, to our water, and to our first sustenance, which is our mother's milk. So that's a simple prayer, and I gave thanks to each of the directions and introduced myself in our traditional way. So what I'd like to request as part of this prayer is that we ask language to do a lesson for us. Maybe once a month, come in and do a language lesson. When I worked for another tribe, that's what they did. And after a while, the council was able to do some of the prayers and know some of the words and language. But I think that we should lead by the example. And some already know the language. I'm not saying anything there. But there's a lot of words I don't know. And I think it would be wonderful if we brought in some language people to do that. Maybe once a month if we brought them in. With that, miigwech.
Jennifer and I are going to do
Oh.
the English part, he's going to do the I know. Very good.
All right, you got time to use the restroom, and then we'll start promptly at 6. We are opening our August 2nd meeting of the Sioux Tribe Board Directors, and we will start with our attendance roll call. You find Denny.
He's out there, impacting the carbon emission.
Yeah. He's leaving his carbon imprint.
That's right.
You'd be surprised at the things we do that leave carbon imprints.
Catherine. Yes.
Yes.
Here.
Anita. Here. Keith. Here. Denise. Here. DJ. Bridget. Kim. Jennifer. Darcy is away on tribal business. Michael. Denny. I will. Lana. Aaron.
Here.
Denny.
Okay. So I'd like to entertain a motion to excuse those board members who are out on travel business. The motion, is there a second? Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Who was second?
Denise? Okay, yep.
Oh, there was a motion and a second. Didn't you make the motion? Yeah.
Kim and Denise, yeah.
That's it. No, I explained earlier that rather than do them individually, whenever a board member is out on travel business, we'll have Joanne circulate it to everybody that day. Then in the evening, I will call for excuse those board members out on travel business, so they're all excused. No, because then we don't do them individually. Okay, on the agenda tonight we have resolutions, Big Bear, authorizations to apply for clean diesel grant, settlement committee for Blue Cross Blue Shield, Chapter 14, rules of parliamentary procedure, and under new business we have General Welfare Exclusion Act 2014, and I will be asking for add-ons after we approve the agenda as read. Is there a motion? Motion and support. All in favor of approval signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. The add-ons include rescinding 2016-172 IMLS date pattern resolution, and also waiver of sovereign immunity and consent to waiver of tribal court jurisdiction finance agreement with Lake Forest Bank and Trust, and moving the September 27th meeting to September 20th in Munising, and appointment of Michael McCurchie to the Audit Commission and the Audit Committee and the Tax Commission. Yes.
Just mentioned, is that under new business or why is it not? Seems like we've had a resolution in the past for that.
We are going to ask to assign a resolution number to it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
We're going to ask to assign, we discussed it just previously and we asked his willingness to serve, and he's willing. And so we have a meeting coming up next week, and so he's willing to serve then. So we would make the appointment tonight.
Without a resolution?
No, with the resolution.
Pardon?
With the resolution.
So do we have to suspend and put a resolution?
That's what we're doing right now. We're suspending the rules to add all of these items on.
And is this going to be one vote?
Yes.
Motion to separate?
Okay. Which item?
The last one.
Okay, so without objection, we'll separate the last item. Okay, so we'll vote on the items that I read first. All in favor of adding those items on the agenda? Without objection, those items are added. Hearing no objection. So now we go to, I'll entertain a motion and support to add the appointment to the Tax Commission, Michael McCurchie. Motion and support. Second. And then any discussion on that? Catherine?
I'm sorry,
Oh, I thought you raised your hand.
I can't hear.
Oh, so now we have a motion and second to appoint Mike McCurchy to the audit committee to add it to the agenda.
Okay,
So we need 9
9.
votes. Yes.
And you're roll calling me, Joanne?
Yes, we will roll call. Actually, no, because we got to add it first.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
No.
Well, no, he's just adding to the agenda.
Yeah, so now we will
Okay,
do a roll call vote
okay.
to add it.
DJ? Denise?
Yes.
Jennifer? Denny? Bridget? Lana? Kim? Keith? Anita?
Yes.
Michael? Catherine? Sorry. 2. Motion carries.
All right. Okay, so that's the agenda for tonight, and the first item will be the Big Bear Arena, and we will begin with reading the resolution.
Of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2016 budget modifications to Big Bear Administration, Events and Building Operations for a decrease in other revenue of $12,784.53. Motion.
Okay, Jessica.
This resolution was presented at the workshop today. Basically, what they're looking at doing is reallocating some savings that they have in salaries and wages for some positions to move that to the maintenance line. The rest of the facility that needs to be have support professional, also the summer tank facility, and also looking at having the facility design fixed. I'm sure you probably noticed that some of the boards on the sign have been out for probably a couple of years now, so we're looking to get that fixed.
That's what you're going to say since you left the Big Bear. Okay, so having heard the resolution and explanation, what's the pleasure of the board? Oh, we already did that. When did we do that? I don't even remember. Okay, are there any questions or comments? We have workshop today. Any final questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Now, next up is authorization to apply for clean diesel grant.
That resolution was 187.
Now we're on 188.
Now therefore be resolved that the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians does hereby as follows: authorize the submission of a proposal to the EPA under the current solicitation to Tribal Clean Diesel, DERA, and 2, direct the Environment Program specifically to draft and submit a full proposal in response to this solicitation for support for emissions reductions measures in the tribal heavy-duty diesel fleet. Be it further resolved that the chairperson and treasurer are authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to prepare and submit a proposal and enter into a contract with EPA in response to this solicitation.
What's the pleasure of the board? Motion and support. Without objection. This was described today just a little while ago by Kathy Brosmer, and it does require a hard commitment of $40,000 to purchase not a new dump truck, but it also brings in $52,450 to reduce our carbon emissions. And so with that, open for discussion. DJ.
This has to be either approved or not approved by the 23rd, correct?
Yes, I think the next meeting potentially would suffice.
So that's what I said. The next meeting is the 19th or 16th?
16.
Okay, 16th. Motion to table to the 16th.
Is there a second? The table till the 16th. Motion to table till the 16th meeting. There's a motion and support to table till the 16th. And roll call, please.
Kim?
Yes.
Jennifer? Sorry. Michael?
Yes.
Bridget? Catherine? DJ?
Yes.
Denny? Lana? Anita?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Keith? 2, 4, 6, 2. Table.
All right, next is, you can't give a reason,
Oh.
actually. Technically, you can't. Board.
You didn't do them together because Saluja was just audit. Did you do them on tax too?
No, I know he clarified that, and the amendment was only to the audit committee. So, we got it all clear.
Got it.
That's kind of junky.
Okay, so is there a motion to move the September 27th? Is there a second? Second. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Wait, keep your hand up. Any abstention? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn? Without objection, we are adjourned. All right, so enjoy the rest of the night. Yeah.
I think this is the second year. In the past, we kind of just paid for it, and I was trying to keep it as we can. That cost $6,619.
You. DJ.
No, that was just me trying to get the piece of paper up there.
Just listening. Okay, so any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Next up is rescind 2016-172 IMLS date pattern. Do we have a second?
Are we assigning this a number?
No, I don't think you do that, do you?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, all right, so we have a motion and support. First thing, I'll ask for technical amendment to assign this a resolution number. Is there any objection? We will add it sequentially, so it'll be 191. And this one, Colleen explained today, is just the date pattern. We were told to change it by Administration for Native Americans, so we changed it. They told us to change it back, so we're changing it back. So, nothing other than that. Bureaucracy at its finest, or bureaucracy at its finest. Questions or comments?
Are we on right now? Would you?
Rescinding 2016-172 IMLS Library Services.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank-
Do you have a question? Go ahead.
Effective, it no longer needs the $900.
I think I don't know about that. I guess yes, they said to rescind it, right?
Well, I just
Yeah.
want to make sure it no longer needs the 900. It was like 957, 954, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Good catch. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Next is General Welfare Exclusion Act of 2014. It's new business, and I would like to entertain a motion because we're going to then request to send it to the Audit Committee. Motion and support. Motion without objection. DJ. Without objection, we will refer this to the Audit Committee. Hearing no objection. So, do we have to vote now? No, we just voted, right? Okay, that's good. Next is appointment of Michael McCurchie to the vacancy on the Audit Committee and the Tax Commission. And I'd like to entertain a motion. Is there support? Motion. Yeah. Motion and support. And are you willing to accept? Okay.
Denny and Keith?
Keith, did you second? Yes. Yeah. Any further discussion? Hearing none? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, a couple of things. A little bit it bothers me that I'm thinking back on the audit committee. how it started as far as by resolution. And then we went from 3 to 4. I don't know if we had a resolution there.
We did.
But, okay.
We amended the code.
Okay, to accommodate 4. And now, and that's a big move that we amended the code. And I just feel a little uncomfortable that this came on as new business and not just something, because I don't think there was anything so urgent, which is when we take votes at new business. And so I want to say something, and I don't want it to be taken the wrong way, but I feel kind of compelled to at least go on the record with it. And I think every single person sitting here is more than competent to serve on the audit or the tax commission. But I also know that one of our big roles as a board is fiduciary responsibilities. And so this commission, the audit committee and the tax commission, those are representative of that in a lot. And it has to be noted that of our 12 members with 4 men on the board, it'll be comprised of 4 men on the board, and we will have no women on that board. So, and I'm good with that. I love Mike. He's great. I'm sure he'll be fabulous at it, but I just felt that needed to go on the record.
Hey, DJ.
I actually had something to say, but I don't know how to.
You don't have to respond to that.
No, I'm a little thrown off.
I'm not.
I guess I will say this, regardless of your gender identity. Yeah, I thought that was funny. This entire board had the opportunity to be on the committee, either way. And some were on it, and some got off it. And I mean, if someone wants to be on it, that's great. Does this mean I can get off it now? No.
So right now, Keith and Denny and DJ and Kathy formerly was. We've had other people that were on and chose not to continue to be on. When we appointed Kathy, we could have done an appointment then if anybody was interested. Nobody expressed an interest. We didn't mean to do any slight today. It's just we did have a vacancy. We were looking through the committee list earlier today, and we kind of cajoled Mike into serving. We asked him on the spot. He's willing to serve, so I'm just excited that somebody's willing to serve. All right. And without objection, we will clarify that the term of office is the vacancy that Kathy, because there are terms for them and they're different stratified terms, so it'll be to fill the term that Kathy vacated. Lana.
I don't have any problem with Mike. I support that. I respect what everybody else has to say about it, though, but I support my opinion on it. Is there only 4 seats?
We had to amend the code to add the 4th seat, so yes.
So, okay. So the treasurer is automatically, and then we said 3 other.
Yeah.
But we can amend that. If someone was interested, say anybody on the committee, or anybody on the board, we could amend it and add that.
Yeah, and also I'm not on the commission, but I try to go to as many meetings as I can, so the board members don't have to actually be on the commission in order to attend.
And we get to, yeah.
Yeah, and they're regularly third Thursdays, 9 o'clock. Hold on, is that Jennifer? Jennifer, did you have your hand up first? Okay, Catherine.
Just so did Kathy fill Rita's position because Rita was on there? I got a little confused when that all happened. We went through a little period where there was going to be video conferencing, and then people were.
Yeah, you're right.
So just so I have it straight in my mind. So when Rita didn't, then Kathy filled that position.
Yeah, and then we amended because Kathy Abramson had been going without being a committee member. So we amended the code to add
She filled Rita.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you don't still have a vacancy.
DJ, I'm sorry, I just slipped a gear. Okay. So DJ, DJ had been going, so then we amended the code to appoint DJ.
Okay, so there was no more than that. I was just trying to make sure there wasn't still a vacancy.
No, you're right. Okay.
That's all I guess. That was a vacancy.
Yes.
Which was fine.
We cajole DJ. All right. So all in, Bill.
This kind of caught me off guard. So Dr. Saluja's term is up this month. You want to include that or have me bring a separate resolution to that?
Why don't I entertain a motion as soon as we're done with this to suspend the rules to add that. That's a good idea. Because he'll be there, otherwise he won't be there, right? But at the end of this month, he can still attend this month, so we'll be okay. Final questions or comments? Motion and second. Motion and second to add Dr. Saluja's reappointment.
I've got it. DJ and Bridget. Add.
Without objection, we will add that. Just the audit committee. Good. Okay, so there was no objection, so now we'll vote on the main motion with the amendment. All right, roll call.
DJ? Yes. Denise? Yes. Jennifer? Yes. Denny? Yes. Bridget? Yes. Anna? Yes. Kim? Yes. Keith? Yes. Anita? Yes. Michael? Yes. Catherine? Yes. Motion carries.
Wonderful.
Thanks to the.
Yes.
We had the partial waiver of Jermaine on the agenda.
We read the agenda without it.
Okay.
We read the, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got notice 5 days in advance that it was going to be on here. I understand and was told that he was notified by the legal department that he was ineligible to.
Correct.
That is correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, he fully knows.
Okay, he was noticed that. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a couple
We
of
talked to him and
questions
confirmed it too.
tonight. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so the only other item is to move the, oh no, the general welfare exclusion. No, we did that. We referred that. What? No, we did them together. No, we did them together. We did. So the only item left is to move the September 27th meeting to September 20th. What's the pleasure of the next is establishing negotiation committee Sioux Tribe versus Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians does hereby create and empower a settlement and mediation committee of the following named persons: DJ Hoffman, Catherine Hollowell, Jennifer McLeod, Dennis McKelvey. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors of the tribe does hereby empower this committee to act with the full authority of the tribe at its discretion and without further review to settle, mediate, compromise, or otherwise dispose of the above-mentioned litigation. Be it further resolved that this committee shall act through a majority of its members and shall be empowered from the date of this resolution up to and including December 1st, 2016, and no longer. Be it finally resolved, all previous resolutions of this board contradicting or otherwise inconsistent with this resolution are hereby amended to allow for the creation of this committee. Motion.
Motion and support. Lena.
I was there this afternoon when we talked about it just briefly, and I don't expect a number to be announced here right now since we're on live stream, but was there any discussion on what the parameters are, or are they fully empowered to do anything?
They would be fully empowered.
We don't have a number either. I think that's the other thing.
Well, just from past experience that I've had, we give a little bit of parameters or discussed it a little bit. That was just my question, and that's what
And I'm sorry, according to from the legal department, one little issue is that that first two in the last full line should be settled, so as to,
Where,
in the very last full line across,
which resolved?
the last one.
The last resolve.
So as to allow for? That's what it reads. Oh, amended to, read it please.
I amended so as to, rather than to as to.
Okay. Amended so as to. The first two is so. That's the way she read it.
Amended so as to.
Yeah, that's the way Bridget read it. Without objection, that is so amended. Okay, are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? 188. Motion carries. Okay, next up is amending Chapter 14, Rules of Parliamentary Procedure.
Now therefore be it resolved that Traffic Code Chapter 14, Rules of Parliamentary Procedure Ordinance is hereby amended by adding a new 14-106, Section 7, which shall read, cancellations and rescheduling. The Board of Directors, by taking consent by positive majority vote of the directors, may cancel a meeting or workshop or may reschedule it due to a later date and time. If a meeting is rescheduled to another date, it shall be deemed called as a special meeting and shall comply with Section 2 of the bylaws of the Constitution of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians.
We have a motion, is there support? Motion and support. DJ.
Now, what this is we actually amended the code a few months ago for inclement weather and emergencies so that we could cancel a meeting. But we didn't put anything in there for us to be able to cancel a meeting for anything else. So essentially, the second meeting in July, whatever it was, we actually essentially had to not show up for the meeting to cancel. So this gives the ability for the board to cancel a meeting and reschedule.
Okay, Lana.
What will be the form on how that, taking consent by positive majority vote of the directors? Does that mean we all have to be in the same room at the same time?
No, it's consent by majority, same as the emergency. It's this Schleber wrote this. It's the same as the emergency conditions of inclement weather. It's the same conditions.
Yeah.
Same as when we call
It
a
would
meeting.
still take at least seven.
My question is, how do you,
Oh, Joanne calls the board.
that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering.
I'm sorry, that's in the.
So, okay, I don't agree with that. I mean, if it passes, it does, but, I don't agree with that.
Okay. Other board discussion? Catherine, I'm sorry.
Okay, and then just so I can understand exactly what, so if by chance we need to change a date that's already been established, rather than, even if it's months in advance, the date will change, but it will be considered a special meeting because we did change the date. Because, so that, in some ways, that strengthens what we do in January when we post for the whole year for our constitutional requirement. Is it fair to say that that's actually a little bit more, supports that whole notion? Because if not, that would be my second question then. How does this comply with the requirements in the Constitution?
I would say that it doesn't really, it's not
Have any
material.
bearing?
Yeah, it's not material to it because we are required to have one meeting a month.
Yes,
We schedule 2 meetings a month.
right?
So it could if we ended up canceling both meetings.
Except, and Courtney, you might have to get or somebody, doesn't the Constitution have a longer time span that we have to notice meetings, and the way we deal with that is by posting at the beginning January for the whole year?
No.
Then we're meeting that early notice compliance?
No. You can check it, but no, because what we do...
Could I get a legal
if-
response to that?
Well, in the meantime, he's looking, but I'm going to rule that we give notice to all meetings. We don't rely on the annual calendar meeting as the notice for the meeting.
I think it's more than 5 days, though. That's the problem.
I don't think so. It's a
Okay,
5-day
and
requirement.
I'll wait for language.
DJ.
If you look at the end of the actual amendment.
Yeah,
it
we have a
says-
constitution over here.
No, I know, but if you look at the actual end of this resolution, it says, if a meeting is rescheduled to another date, that shall be deemed called as a special meeting and shall comply with Section 2 of the bylaws of the Constitution of the Sault Tribe of Chippewa Indians, which means it has to follow.
It has to be 5-day notice.
That's right, it has to follow the same notice as a special meeting has to normally. This is no different than the actual language is almost verbatim what's in the cancellation for emergency weather and inclement weather and emergencies. In this case, we don't have, I mean, this is, say, for some reason we have to all go to Lansing because some good news happens.
All right, you're actually technically right.
Well,
Regular
that's
meetings.
legal
Oh,
wrote it.
regular meetings.
Yeah.
So it's still,
So my question was, if we change it, even if it's a few months in ahead, if we call it a special meeting, we're still complying. But if we change it and call it a regular meeting, we actually should be giving that 10 days notice.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
right. Because the way, the way DJ drafted it up or Eric Schlager, is in comports with the Constitution as long as we have that second regular meeting. And we do in January list 2 regular meetings per month. So as long as we keep that other regular meeting, we can cancel the other one or reschedule it as a special meeting. The only thing this resolution contemplates is doing it out of convenience rather than have to actually be in the meeting to change the meeting.
So I like the idea that we call it a special meeting, then we
Yeah.
can all feel good about it.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a good catch because it does say 10 days for regular meetings.
Oh, you don't, that's what his group is.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Is that 3? 2 or 3? 2. Okay. So that motion carries. Okay, next up is rescind, let's do the waiver. Waiver of sovereign immunity and consent to waiver tribal court jurisdiction finance agreement with Lake Forest Bank and Trust. And without objection, we will waive the reading. Hearing no objection. Bill, can you give us a quick and dirty?
Bill Conley, Tribal CFO. This is an annual request to finance our property insurance premium. Premium is $537,282. We put down $80,592 and finance the balance, $456,689 plus $6,619 of interest at a rate of 3.15% for the next 10 months.
Okay, and we have a motion and support. No, do we have a motion and support? Do we have a motion and support?
And then DJ?
Keith, all right. Okay. All right, open for questions or comments. Lena?
We do this annually, don't we? So how long, I mean, this is something we do all the time. And I'm sure that was explained to everybody this afternoon.
This is actually an 11-month contract. Our premium runs from July 1st to June 30th.